Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for watching. Today I put together my fall DIYs I did from last year. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up. And now let's craft.
Starting with my first project, I will be making a centerpiece. Now you can use this for your dining room. So from the Dollar Tree, I will be using this wooden oval sign, and I'm going to leave it this color. I was going to paint it, but then I thought it already looks pretty like so I left it like that. The other thing I will be using are two of these pumpkins. I'm not sure if these are new to Dollar Tree, but these are new to me. I recently got these, and I got two different sizes. As you can see, one's more circular and the other one's more oval. Hopefully that made sense. But I'm going to start by gluing them down, one on each side. Now to decorate this, I will be using a Dollar Tree fall pick. I did cut some stems off and I left a little stem, so like that I can add it to the pumpkin. These are like foam, so I just poke them through. Now for the front part, you can use this on both sides, the front or the back, but I just did it to one side. I did add a sunflower to two of the leaves. Here is how I'm going to show you how I put both of these together, because I do end up using one stem, adding the leaves on one end and the other two leaves on the other end. So like that I can just put it in the center. I'm going to show you how, because I really can't explain what I'm doing, but this is what I did, and I just put it down instead of me poking it through the pumpkins. To finish this off, all I did was make two bows out of this Dollar Tree jute twine and add them to the pumpkin stem. And that is it for this beautiful pumpkin floral centerpiece. For my next project, I will be using this Dollar Tree picture frame thing. This is from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by removing the little clip, and I'm going to remove the paper. Now, I tried to remove everything at first and it didn't come off until I added like a little bit of water, and then it came off. And this is how it looks. Now I did try to remove everything, but it was kind of hard, so I just left it like that. I will be adding a scrapbooking paper, but before I do that, I am going to remove this little back stand. Now I'm going to just set it to the side because I will be adding it back on, but the other way around. Now I'm going to use this Hobby Lobby beautiful fall pumpkin scrapbooking paper that I actually got last year, but Hobby Lobby is always carrying these beautiful scrapbooking papers that you can use. I did trace it, cut it, and I used Mod Podge to glue it. The reason I removed the back is because I will be making this horizontal instead of vertical, like the little stand on the back. I will be moving it towards the other way. So after I am done cutting this, I will be adding this using Mod Podge. To add the stand, all you need to do is grab a hammer or something heavy and start hitting it, and it has these little things on the back that it goes through this piece of wood. I don't know if this is wood or pressed on wood. After I'm done doing that, I'm going to decorate this using some jute twine. I'm going to add some on the sides. To finish this off, I will be adding this little gift thanks wood piece that I got from a Dollar Tree pack. And that is it. Look how beautiful and cute this turned out. For my next project, I will be using 2 of these Dollar Tree wood pallets, and I'm going to make one sign with these 2, or make it a bigger one. So I'm going to attach these together. I did only use hot glue, but I do recommend you using wood glue or a combination. Now for extra reinforcement, I will be adding a piece of popsicle stick to the back. Using this Michael's scrapbooking paper, I'm going to trace this pumpkin that I had. Now this comes from a Dollar Tree pack, and I'm going to just glue it using some Mod Podge. To add some more details, I did added this little cute jute twine bow, and look how beautiful this pumpkin is. I will be adding this Hello Autumn sign that I got from a Dollar Tree pack, which I painted using the Waverly Antique Wax. Now before I add the pumpkin, I'm going to add this faux leather fall leaf to one side, and then on top of that I will be adding the pumpkin. Right beside that pumpkin, I did add a little galvanized pumpkin that I took off from a Dollar Tree sign. And that is it. Look how beautiful this Hello Autumn sign turned out. For my next project, I will be using this Dollar Tree wood box, and I'm going to be adding some of this, it's not wallpaper, it's kitchen paper. I got this from the Dollar Tree a while back. I'm going to cut it to size and then just add it in the center. I will be removing the little tag part that's on one of the sides, and then I'm going to add a wood little square in the center with this Hello Fall sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. And to make this like more like a 3D, I did add a piece of Jenga block. And that is it for this beautiful Hello Fall sign. Now you can add small little pumpkins if you have them, or add more stickers, but that's all I'm doing to mine. Dollar Tree, I'm going to use these pumpkins, this sign, and the buffalo check vinyl. So I'm going to start by cutting the vinyl to size and add it to the sign, just like if it was sticker.
Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Before you turn away, I just want you to know that I didn't throw your stuff away.
I did cut this a little bit too big, so I will be using this X-Acto knife to cut that part off. And this is how it looks. Now you have a beautiful blank buffalo check canvas that you can literally add anything to it. I will be adding these pumpkins, but first I am going to add a different paper to this, just because this is already buffalo plaid and I didn't want it to be like plaid on plaid. So I was going to use this little scrapbooking paper that I had, but I didn't have this white one that I wanted, so I used this like galvanized paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. I did cut this to size. Then I used my Elmer's glue stick to glue this.
Before you make up your mind that I'm nowhere to find, I'm standing right here. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're with her, I can see that.
To decorate the pumpkin a little more, I made a jute twine bow using the jute string. But before I add the bow, I will be using a scent sheet paper to just send out all the edges.
That you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it be? If I leave tonight, we could do this right.
Now I will be adding the bow. Now for the other pumpkin, I honestly love the way it looks, so I just left it like that and added back on there. The next thing I did is just add these pumpkins to this sign, and that's all I added. Now you can add more things to this, like greenery.
Find the remedy, or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Till the morning light, till the morning light, till the morning light, yeah.
The last thing I did is added these leaves. Now these little leaves come from
a garland that I'm actually using in my next project. So I just wrapped this around it, glued it, and that is it for this sign. Look how beautiful and cute this turned out. For my next project, I will be using this Halloween pumpkin decor and 2 of these garlands. Now, as you can see, these are the little leaves I used in my last DIY. So for this project, I did get inspired by She's So Crafty. I seen a picture on her Instagram that I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. So I'm going to start off by taking this pumpkin apart, removing all of this, like, I don't know if it's mesh or fabric, but whatever this is, I am going to remove it. Now for the next part, I did have a little bit of trouble because I couldn't find the pliers that I needed. I did start off with these and I tried to remove like the top little wires, but it was kind of hard. Now I took a break and actually went to go look for them, and when I finally found them, instead of me trying harder to remove the top ones, I went with the bottom ones, which actually were much easier, but I wish I had done this the other way around, which is doing it from the top part instead of the bottom, but you'll see why.
That we said we would burn. Oh, I know that you feel it too. I know that I told you we're over. I swear that I'm sober. Just listen, I miss you. And I know that I said all these things, but now when you're
once I had removed every single one, this little thing was off. Now mine, I don't know if I messed it up by removing all of this or it already came messed up, but when I did try to turn it on, the light wouldn't turn on, so I ended up not using this. But if yours does work, you can use this instead, but just set this to the side. Then take the bead apart, I mean not the bead, sorry, the garland apart, and grab all of the beads. I did put them in this little sign.
with her, I can see that. That you miss me. Would you stay till the morning light? Or would you follow me? Or would you let
I then started to add all the beads. I did start off with the brown ones. Now I started by putting all the brown ones in each little wire, but I do end up removing, I believe, 4 of them because I did one brown, one not, one brown, one yes. And then I went ahead and added the other beads to every little wire.
it be if I leave tonight? We could do this right. We'll find the remedy. Or would you stay with me now till the morning light? Stay till the morning light. Or would you follow me? Or would you let it be if I leave tonight? We could do this right. We'll find the remedy.
Once I had added all the beads, I glued like the last one just so when I was working with this, the beads wouldn't fall out. Then I used a floral foam and I used this candle to make it into a circle. I then used this little floral foam to add all the wires around it. Now I'm going to add all of the little wires to the floral foam all around it. I did have to add some hot glue so they can stay in place. To kind of cover the floral foam, I did added some jute twine to the bottom, and then I added some jute twine inside all around the floral foam. This is also going to help it stay glued on there, like the beads with the floral foam and the jute twine. Hopefully that makes sense. Once I was done doing that, I did cut another piece of floral foam like into a small little square. Added some burlap around the top part, and then after that I did add some jute twine around it. This is going to be the stem for my pumpkin.
Remedy, or would you stay with me now till the morning? Would you stay till the morning light, or would you follow me, or would you let it?
Once I was done gluing this, I then glued the little stem to my pumpkin. I used some hot glue. Now for extra support, I did add some nautical rope like towards the bottom. I then used some of the Dollar Tree ribbon to make a bow. Added the bow, and that was it for this pumpkin. Look how cute this turned out. I am not going to lie, this gave me a little bit of hard trouble just putting like the wire on the foam at the bottom. That's why I was telling y'all that I think it's so much easier to do it from the top instead of the bottom. But that is it, guys. Look how cute this turned out. For my next project, I will be using this spray bottle that I got from the Dollar General. It was only $1. And from Dollar Tree, I will be using some of these pumpkin floral picks. Now, I do end up only using one of them and some greenery instead. I'm going to start off by removing the little sprayer, and then I will be painting the bottle using some white chalk paint. I did have to give this 2 coats of paint. After the paint was dry, this is how it looked. Now for like the top part, I did use some jute twine to cover like that little part at the top, and I used the little leaves that came from the garlands. I tied 2 of them together and I wrapped them to the top part and tied them. I then used the Dollar Tree ribbon to make a bow and add it to this. The last thing I did is I added both of the little pumpkin picks, but I didn't like how that looked, so I did end up removing the green ones, left the orange with this greenery, and that was it. Look how beautiful this turned out. My next project was so simple to do. Now this was basically already made. All I did was just decorate this. I got this little family window sign from the Dollar Tree. I added some of the Walmart greenery at the bottom with some Dollar Tree pumpkins. I added an orange in the center, and I had this little cute buffalo check pumpkins that I grabbed from the Dollar Tree, and I added 1 on each side, and that was it. Look how beautiful this sign turned out.
I will be using one of these Dollar Tree easels. Now I'm only using like the front part. I will be taking this apart, removing the back. And I'm going to paint this using the Waverly Antique Wax. I am going to leave like the little border on the side, the same color. I'm also putting the sticks on the side because I will be using them on my next project. So once I am done doing this, I'm going to just set this to the side, let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to paint this welcome fall little wood sign that I also got from a Dollar Tree pack. Now, I got these last year. I'm not sure if Dollar Tree is carrying these this year, but if they aren't, you can always use Dollar Tree stickers or your Cricut to cut something out. Another thing that I'm going to use is one of these pumpkins. This comes in a pack of 8. I'm only using one and I'm going to paint it this color, which is a very pretty light blue. Once I am done painting this, or once it's dry actually, I'm going to add a little bit of texture and add a little bit of white. And then I'm going to put this together. Going to glue the welcome sign at the top, and at the bottom I will be adding the pumpkin. I had painted the stem of the pumpkin with the antique wax, but it kind of blended in with the sign, so I grabbed a little bit of black paint and just painted it black instead. To decorate this a little more, I will be making a bow using some jute twine and adding it to the pumpkin. And that is it for this cute little welcome sign. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I will be using 2 of these Dollar Tree wood pieces and the little easel sticks that I removed. Now I am going to use only one of them. I thought I was going to use both of them to make two, but I ended up using one. Now I'm going to use my saw. To glue these together, I'm only using hot glue, but you're more than welcome to use wood glue if you like. Once I am done gluing this, I'm going to paint this using the Waverly Antique Wax. I'm going to set this to the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I'm going to use another of the little wood signs. This one says give thanks. I'm going to paint it white, put it to the side to let it dry. Then I'm going to use one of these leaves. I'm going to use the same blue to paint this and distress it a little bit using some white paint. Now I'm going to put this together. I'm going to start by adding the sticks. I'm going to add one on each side. I'm only using hot glue for this. Then I'm going to add the leaf on one side and the give thanks on the other. I felt like this needed something else, so I had these little galvanized leaves that I removed from a Dollar Tree garland, which I'll actually have the link down in the description box in case you want to check out what I did with that garland. 2 leaves come together, so I took this apart and only added one of them, and I added more towards the top to cover that little hole it had. Now to decorate this just a little bit more, I made a jute twine bow and add it to the leaf. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I'm going to use one of these foam pumpkins that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, I only found this orange one, but Dollar Tree does carry a white one, so you can skip this next step if you already have the white one. Once this was dry, I went over it using the blue color I have been using. I did give this only one coat. And then after that was dried, I used this tiny little brush, or it's not that tiny, but this brush to just go over the dent of the pumpkins. And I added way too much, so then I did go over it back with some blue. But anyways, once I was done, I let this dry, and then I added this stem that I removed from a Dollar Tree pumpkin. To finish this off, I made a bow using some jute twine and added at the top. And that is it. Look how beautiful this pumpkin turned out. For my next project, I will be using this wood leaf that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now this is new to Dollar Tree because they usually carry like the one where it's like only one leaf. Now this one has two of them. I am going to take this apart by using a butter knife. So I'm going to remove it slowly, even though it did leave some pieces on the other side. I just left it like that. I didn't try to remove it because I am going to glue it back on. The only reason I took this apart is to paint this, and when I paint this, I didn't want I don't know, I wanted it to look more clean. So I'm going to paint the big leaf using white paint, or actually, sorry, not white, the blue paint. And the small leaf, I'm going to paint it white paint. Using the Waverly Antique Wax, I'm going to paint the stems of both leaves, and then I'm going to distress the leaves. Once I'm done doing that, I'm going to glue the white leaf back on the blue leaf, and then I'm going to add a thankful sign that I grabbed last year from the Dollar Tree. It's like leather. It's actually leather. So hopefully they carry these again this year. And I'm going to just add it in the center, add a bow, and that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. Be using this Dollar Tree decor sign. Now Dollar Tree does carry these in different colors. This brown, they have a black and a white. I'm also using these new stencils, which I recently got to come in this pack. This one that says Hello Fall and the one that says Happy Thanksgiving. As you can see, the whole image doesn't fit on the sign, so I'm only doing Hello Fall. I will be painting the hello, the F, and the two L's using some white paint and this Dollar Tree sponge brush. Now for the leaf, instead of using the stencil leaf, I will be using this wood leaf that I already had, which I'm going to paint it with this blue paint. Using the Waverly Antique Wax, I'm going to distress it a little bit. This leaf is self-adhesive, so I'm going to just remove the paper on the back and add it there. To decorate this a little more, I will be adding some jute twine to the top and to the bottom. And I'm also doing a bow with the jute twine and adding it there. And that is it for this beautiful Hello Fall decor sign. For my next project, I will be using one of these Dollar Tree wood palettes. Now I'm reusing mine, but Dollar Tree still carries these. I did paint it using the Waverly Antique Wax. To decorate my palette a little more, I will be adding some of this beautiful scrapbooking paper that I got from Michael's. I'm going to cut it to size, glue it using my Elmer's glue stick. To decorate my palette some more, I will be adding this wood leaf. This comes from a Dollar Tree pack. Each little pack comes with 8 little leaves. I'm only using one. As you can see, I'm using the same blue paint. I'm actually going to use it throughout my entire video. I use some white to distress it and a little bit of antique wax. To finish this off, I added a little bow that I made using jute string. And I felt like I needed something else, so I added another leaf on the side. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, all I'm doing is redoing this Dollar Tree vase. I thought it was the same blue when I picked this up at the Dollar Tree, but it wasn't. This was like a little bit more different. So all I did is give it one coat of that blue. After it was dry, I used a tiny brush and I went over the dent with some Waverly Antique Wax, and this is how it looks. What I try to do is make this look like a pumpkin, but it kind of doesn't look like that. But anyways, I just left it like this. Now to decorate this a little more, I added some jute twine. And with that same jute twine, I made a bow. And that is it. Look how beautiful this vase turned out. The last thing I did was add some of this fall floral pick that I got from Walmart. For my next project, I actually use a leftover lid of a Dollar Tree wood box. Now I'm going to just paint it using the Waverly Antique Wax. I didn't paint the inside because I will be adding some of the same scrapbooking paper that I used earlier. I'm going to add it inside here. Now to decorate this, I will be using one of the Dollar Tree wood pumpkins, which I'm going to paint using the same blue I have been using. To make this look 3D, I will be adding some Jenga blocks. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. Now to finish it off, I will be adding a bow. For my next project, all I did is revamp this a little more. Now this is already pretty as is. Now when I first picked this up, I absolutely fell in love with the colors. This was my inspiration actually, using these colors because of this sign. Now all I did to this was add some jute twine to the stem, make a bow. With that bow, I added some beads. Like I mentioned before, this sign, it's already beautiful as is. So all I did is add this wood leaf and one of these Dollar Tree little pumpkins, which I cut in half and added on the other side. And that is it for this beautiful sign. Now for the project you guys have been waiting for, I'm going to use 2 of these new Dollar Tree serving trays and this floral vase. I'm going to start by removing the sticker on both of the trays. Then I'm going to glue the vase in the center. But before I glue the vase, I wanted to add some more, like, how do I say it? Some more space so you can be able to glue this to the tray. So I will be adding some of this nautical rope on the top. To glue the vase, I do recommend you using E6000 or a combination of E6000 and hot glue. And that is it for this tier tray. Look how beautiful this turned out. These are the new self-adhesive stencils I recently found at the Dollar Tree. Look how beautiful these are. And I did pick up one of each of what I found. And this is how they look like. Starting with my first project, I will be using this Dollar Tree wood hanging decor sign, which I'm going to remove the little hanger and painting this using a mixture I made. And honestly, after I was done mixing all the paint, I ended up with a color, like a similar color that I already had. So you can totally skip this step. And this is the color that I told you that I had, that it looks similar, but honestly in person it looks just a little bit different. So to make it a little bit darker, I added some brown. Now I'm going to just paint my sign, let it dry, and add the self-adhesive stencil. The one I'm using is this pumpkin patch one. Now honestly you have to be very careful, and I think the best way to put these stencils is by going section by section. If not, it's gonna end up like sticking to everything. Once I am done doing that, I will be using the color white and the Waverly Antique Wax to paint this. For the leaves and the pumpkin, I use a brush, and for the pumpkin patch words, I will be using a sponge brush. To decorate this, I will be adding some jute twine to the top and some jute twine to the bottom. Using the same sponge brush, I used some of the mixture I had, and I just painted here and there because I did kind of messed up with the antique wax. After that, I decided to just add some of the Waverly Antique Wax and distress the edges. And that is it, guys. Look how beautiful this pumpkin patch turned out. For my next project, I will be using this jar that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, I'm only using the jar, so I'm going to take apart the lid, and I'm using this tool for it. It was very easy to remove, actually. Once I am done removing this, I am going to use one of the stencils. And look how beautiful these are. These are 7 different images. I will be using the one that says Hello Fall. So for this one, I will be using the white and the mixture I made. So for the word fall, I'm using the mustard color. And for the word hello, I will be using white. And I did use a brush for the fall and a sponge brush for the hello. And this is how it looks. Now it did bleed a little. That is because I didn't like smooth everything down. I think there was like several bubbles at the bottom, and I thought that wasn't gonna affect it, but it did. But to clean that up, I used a wet paintbrush, and then I decorated the jar a little more using some jute twine with a jute twine bow. And look how beautiful this looks. You can use this for several different things. I will be using mine as a floral vase and add some fall floral picks. But that is it. Look how beautiful it turned out. For my next project, I will be using this decor sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint the middle part using the same mustard color I have been using. And for the stencils, I will be using the one at the bottom. This one says Abundantly Blessed. When I first thought of using this sign with this stencil, I thought that the word at the top was going to go like in the middle part, and then the other word at the bottom, it was going to be at the bottom part. But it wasn't like that. It was bigger than what I thought. So I still ended up using it like this, and I placed it kind of like blessed almost in the middle, but it's not really in the middle. And you'll see how I'm gonna paint it. For the top part where the mustard is, I used the white, and for the other bottom part, I used the mustard color. I let this dry, then I remove the stencil, and look how beautiful this looks. Now to decorate the sign a little more, I added some jute twine to the top part where there is empty and added a leaf. And that is it for this beautiful sign. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I will be using this dry erase sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. I am going to paint the border using the Waverly Antique Wax, And for the stencil, I am going to reuse the same stencil. I wanted to test them out and see how many times I can use these. And honestly, if you take good care of them or use them carefully, I'm pretty sure you can use them up to 3 times. I actually used this twice and I still have it. And I'm going to paint it using the mustard color. But before that, I did try to use this paint marker, which as you can see, it was a totally fail. To decorate this, I will be using these leaves that I already had. I'm going to use 2, 1 on each side. And in the center, I will be adding a small little cute jute twine bow. And that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my last project, I used one of the Dollar Tree wood little pumpkins that come in a pack of 8. I painted it using the same mustard color, and I reused the Hello Fall stencil, which I used white paint for this. And look how beautiful this looks. Like I said, you can use this up through 3 to 4 times depending how good you take care of them. Now I added this to some Dollar General old sign that I had. I added a bow, and that was it. Look how beautiful this turned out. I will be using one of these Dollar Tree wood pumpkins. Now I decided to leave it this color. I was going to paint it white, but instead I decided to just leave it this color. Now for the word of welcome, I will be using this stencil that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it was like $1, I think, or $1.99, something like that, but 2 came in a pack. For this, I am going to trace the word welcome. Instead of using it like a regular stencil with paint, I decided to trace it, and this is how it looks. Now, I'm going to use tape because I couldn't find my painter's tape, so I just used regular tape. I put a piece of tape at the bottom and one at the top, so then I can paint like the center where the welcome is using the Waverly Antique Wax. I did add a little bit of water to the Waverly Antique Wax, so it is more light and you can see the word welcome. Once this is dried, I remove the tape. Then using a paint marker, I will be going over the word welcome. Now, my paint marker didn't work, or I don't know, I didn't like how that looked. So I just outlined the word, and then using a tiny brush and white paint, I went over the words instead. And this is how it looks. Before I proceed to the next step, I am going to paint the stem using the Waverly Antique Wax. As you can see here, you can see the difference. When you don't add water, it is a lot darker. I recently found this beautiful fall transfer sheet at the Dollar Tree, and look how beautiful this is. I am going to just cut some leaves off and just transfer them to my pumpkin. And this is how it looked after I filled it up with all the leaves that I wanted. Now to cover the little hole on the stem, I am going to use some jute twine and wrap a few times around it. I didn't wrap the entire stem, only a little bit, and this is how it looks. I felt like it needed more, so I added some jute twine. I added one to the top and one to the bottom. After that, the last thing I added was a bow, and that was it for this beautiful welcome pumpkin sign. For my next project, I will be using some of these pumpkin ornaments. 8 come in a pack. I thought I was going to use 6, but I do end up using only 5. Now I'm going to paint my pumpkins first. 2 of them are going to be like more of an ivory whitish color. I didn't have an ivory, so I used a little bit of light yellow with white, and this is what I ended up with. Now for the next 2 pumpkins, I'm going to paint them this green. This is from the brand Waverly Chalk Paint in the color Celery. Now I wanted one to be a little bit lighter and the other one a little bit darker. So to make one lighter, I added a little bit of white to it. And for the other one, I just used the regular celery. Now for my other 2 pumpkins, I used this orange that I made mixing 2 different colors, which I will show you in my next project. And look how beautiful these pumpkins look. Now for the stem, I used the antique wax. Now this project is going to be very easy and simple. I used one of the Dollar Tree's long signs and I just added these to the sign. Now you can make this vertical or horizontal, however you like. As you can see, all 6 do fit here, but I wanted to add some jute twine to the bottom of the sign, so that's why I only used 5. I used the orange in the middle and the other 2 colors on the other sides. I made some tiny little bows and I added them to the pumpkins. Now for the middle pumpkin, I did make the bow a little bit bigger, but honestly, that is it for this sign. Look how beautiful this turned out. The next project is going to be very easy and simple. From Dollar Tree, I will be using one of these signs. And for this project, I did use my Cricut to cut the word gather. Earlier, I showed you that you can use stencils. And for my next project, you're going to see I use my handwriting. Now I added the word gather towards one side, and on the other side I used the leftover pumpkin that I didn't use in my previous project. So I'm going to just glue it on that side, add a jute twine bow, and that is it. Look how beautiful and high-end this turned out. For my next project, I will be using this beautiful new wood sign that I recently got from the Dollar Tree. Look how beautiful this is. Now once again, I left it this color and I only painted the pumpkins. One of the pumpkins, I painted it using the Waverly Antique wax. I mean, not the wax, I'm sorry. Chalk paint in the color celery. The other one, I painted it ivory and the other one orange. For the stem, I used the Waverly Antique wax. For the orange, I mixed these two colors up to make that color, and I added a little bit of antique wax. Now I'm going to use this marker just to outline the entire pumpkins. And look how beautiful these turned out. Now, instead of using a stencil or my Cricut machine, I used my handwriting, which I honestly regret it because this sign would have turned out so beautiful if my handwriting wasn't so bad. But I did try. I tried to fix it several times by going over them, making them thicker, more straight. But at the end, it still kind of looked funny, but it didn't look bad after all. Now for the hanger, I added some beads. To finish this off, I made a bow using this beautiful orange ribbon, which honestly I don't remember where I got it from. Oh wait, this is from Hobby Lobby. But that is it. Look how beautiful this hello sign turned out. This is $58.49. Now what I'm making is not a canvas. I'm actually using two of these Dollar Tree wood decor signs, some Dollar Tree black vinyl, a pumpkin. This pumpkin comes from a little pack of 8, and a popsicle stick. I will be making a large sign by gluing these together, but first I am going to remove the beads. Now this large popsicle stick, I am going to cut it in half. And to glue this, I'm only using hot glue. You can use wood glue if you like. I'm using the popsicle stick for extra reinforcement. this is how it looks. Now I decided to leave mine this color, the one at Kirkland's. It is white, but I feel like this is already such a beautiful natural wood color. Now for the letters for the word home, I have these poster letters that I got from Walmart a while back. These are made out of paper, so I could just easily just use glue and glue these, but instead I decided to use the vinyl. I do want to show you that you can use vinyl without a Cricut. Now I'm going to just trace the letters and then cut them out. This is how they look. Now to transfer these, I'm not using the transfer tape. Instead, I'm going to just use these like stickers and just place them on my sign. Now I use this piece of wood so I know I put them nice and straight. For the O, I will be using this wood pumpkin, and I'm going to paint it using a mixture of this orange and brown. And look how beautiful this color is. Now, once I am done painting this, I will be painting the stem using the dark brown. Now I'm going to just glue the pumpkin. To cover the little hole, I made a jute twine bow and added there. And that is it. Look how beautiful this home sign turned out. And I spent less than $5 to make this. My next dupe is this orange monogram and pumpkin wall plaque from Dollar Tree. I'm using one of their wood pumpkins, and for the letter I'm using this one that I got from the Target dollar spot last year. Now Dollar Tree does carry wood letters that you can use. Now to paint the pumpkin, instead of making it that orange, I decided to make it darker orange, which I used the orange and added a little bit of brown. Now the sponge did have like a little bit of brown, and I used that to make designs on the pumpkin, just to distress this out a little bit. Look how beautiful this turned out. For the stem, I did use the same brown. So I ended up switching my idea. Instead of using this letter, which I was going to paint white, I decided to use some vinyl. Dollar Tree does carry white vinyl. I just didn't have the one from Dollar Tree, so I will be using my Cricut one. I traced the letter, cut it, and then just add it as a sticker to the pumpkin. The pumpkin at Kirkland's did have the leaf and some kind of garland, but instead of doing that, I decided to just use a bow. Dollar Tree carries burlap ribbon that you can use to make the bow. Now to hang this, I use some Dollar Tree rope and add it to the back, and that is it for this beautiful wood plaque. Once again, I did use less than $5 to make this. My next dupe is going to be this white pumpkin welcome metal sign, which is $12.74. For this project, I will be using this white garden stake that I got from the Dollar Tree and this wood hanging decor sign. I'm going to start by removing the stake from this pumpkin. Now, I tried to be very careful. I actually ended up making small little holes on the back because I wasn't careful when I removed this. For this wood hanging decor sign, I am going to just cut off the holes using my handsaw. This next step, you can totally skip it if you are using a darker brown. If you're using a lighter brown, you can use this step first. So I did use this welcome stencil sign that I got from Hobby Lobby. And I did get it for like under $2. 2 of these came in a pack. But this is how it looks after I was done tracing it. Now, as you can see, the W didn't fit, so I just made it smaller. Now, I do want to show you the mistake I made here. So I thought this was going to work because I have done it before where I trace it first and then paint over it, which last time I used the color Antique Wax. It is way lighter, so you were still able to see the letters. But for this one, I don't know if it's because it's darker or it's just I added water. I don't know what I did. That when I painted this, it erased everything, or at least I couldn't see any of the words. So instead, I let this dry and then I went ahead and went over it again with the stencil and a pencil. And now this time you can see the words. So yeah, so just keep in mind if you're using a darker color, just do the tracing afterwards, not before. Now I'm using a tiny little paintbrush with some white paint and I'm going to go over the word. Here I want to show you the little holes. Now something that I forgot to film is with the same brown, I went over the little spirals on the pumpkin and on the edges to distress this. Now I'm going to just flip around both of the signs, and I made some holes on the wood part. I didn't have my drill to make the holes on the metal. Now the way I made the holes on the wood part is I used some screws to make the holes. But to hang this, I'm using this jute wire cord that I got from the Dollar Tree. I put in the jute cord through here. I tied it up like this, and I did that to both sides. Like I said, I didn't make any holes on the metal pumpkin, which I wish I did. I will later on. I glue these instead. Now this is not sturdy, so I don't recommend you gluing this unless you're using a heavier duty glue. But after I was done doing this, I just added a small little jute twine bow to the pumpkin, and that was it. Look how beautiful this welcome sign turned out. And I spent less than $5 to make this. My next dupe is this Hello Fall Wreath Pumpkin Harvest Decoration, which is $29.99. Now for this project, I will be using this Dollar Tree pumpkin and this Dollar Tree stencil. I'm going to start by removing this 3D piece from this pumpkin. I ended up just ripping the entire thing, including the paper. Even though I remove everything, I'm still using the back. Now I'm removing the little sticker from the back. It left some glue residue, so I'm using a scent sheet to send that out. Once I am done doing that, I am going to paint this pumpkin. To paint the pumpkin, I tried to make the same color as this one from Kirkland's, mixing these colors. I added a little bit more yellow, and this is the color it turned out. I'm going to paint this. Once this was dry, I will be using the stencil. For the stencil, I will be using this Dollar Tree sponge brush with some white paint. I went over the Hello Fall first. I then let this dry. This stencil already has a wreath around the Hello Fall, but instead of using the whole thing, because obviously it doesn't fit, I am only using this part. I'm using it first on one side. After it's done drying, I'm going to flip the stencil around so I can do it on the other side. And look how this turned out. Look how beautiful this is. Now you can just leave it like that, but I decided to add a jute twine bow. But that is it. I did spend less than $3 to make this. I will be using 3 of these Dollar Tree wood pumpkins. Now I'm going to paint mine different colors. The first one, I'm going to paint it like an ivory color. I didn't have that color, so I did make mine using some white chalk paint, and I added a little bit of this butter color. And this is how it looks. Honestly, it almost looked like the color of the pumpkin. Now to distress this, I will be using a little bit of the white paint, and I added some brown. I added way too much, so I do end up going over it with some ivory. For my second pumpkin, I mixed these 3 colors. With this one, I distress it using the same technique. I use a little bit of brown and whatever was left over on the brush. For my fourth pumpkin, I mix orange and brown to make a darker orange. I painted all 3 stems using this burnt umber, which is this dark brown. look how beautiful these turned out. Now I'm going to attach these together to make a larger sign. The white one is going to be overlapping the other two. And to glue these, I'm using hot glue. You can use wood glue if you like. To decorate this, I will be making a bow. Now, I didn't have the regular burlap without the lace, so I did remove the lace, made a bow, and I will be adding some leaves to this. Once I am done doing the bow, now I'm going to put these little picks together. This brown and white leaf came from a Dollar Tree pick. The brown or the darker leaf, I did got it from a garland that I got from Dollar Tree, and I just glued them one on each side. Once I was done doing this, I glued the stems to the pumpkin. I then glued the bow right on top of that. For the hanger, I use one of these pieces of hanging things that I got from a Dollar Tree sign. I added some beads and that was it. Now I decided to add this welcome metal decor sign that I had. You can leave it like this, or you can even use your Cricut and add something else, but I decided to just use this metal sign. And that is it for this beautiful pumpkin large sign.
For my next project, I will be using 3 of these Dollar Tree wood planks. I will be making a pumpkin out of these. So one of the planks is going to be overlapping the other 2. So I'm using this piece of popsicle stick to mark where I want the glue to be at. This is also going to help it be nice and straight. For this project, I'm only using hot glue. You can use wood glue if you like. To paint my pumpkin, I will be using this orange harvest, and I added a little bit of brown to make this darker. Using a darker brown, which is this burnt umber, I am going to distress all the edges.
For the stem, I used this leftover popsicle stick that I had. I will be painting it brown and gluing this to the back. The next thing I will be doing is adding Hello Pumpkin. Now I'm using this Dollar Tree stencil. To finish this off, I will be adding some of these leaves that I got from a Dollar Tree fall pick and a bow. And that is it. Look how beautiful this Hello Pumpkin turned out. For my next project, I will be using one of these Dollar Tree signs. I'm going to remove this hanger, but I'm going to add it back on later on. Now, I'm using this pumpkin that I recently found at the Dollar Tree. They have two different ones, this longer one and this wider one. I decided to use this longer one instead. Now, I started off by painting the pumpkin, but I added way too much brown. And I didn't like how that looked, so I did grab another pumpkin and repainted it. This time I made it more orange. Using the same brown I mixed with a little bit of orange, I distressed the edges and made some details to the pumpkin. I also painted the stem with this brown. Now I'm going to set this to the side and let it dry. Meanwhile, I will be using this Dollar Tree vinyl, which I had some of these poster letters. I will be tracing these to the vinyl. Now, these letters are paper letters. They don't have adhesive, that's why I am using the vinyl instead. Once I am done tracing these, I will be cutting them. And this is how they look. I will be adding them to my sign like stickers. As you can see, I didn't add an A because that is what the pumpkin is for. To decorate this a little more, I added this beautiful buffalo check bow to the pumpkin. Now the last thing I will be doing is adding the hanger back on, but I added some beads that I already had. Dollar Tree carries beads that you can use. But that is it. Look how beautiful this fall sign turned out. I'll be using this home sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, as you can see, this is kind of messed up. I actually picked it up like this. I still grabbed it because I knew I wanted to like remake it. I mean, this is already beautiful as is, but I am going to make this more into a fall theme. And to do that, I'm adding one of these sunflowers. Now, I got this from a sunflower pick that I got from the Dollar Tree. I removed the little stem from the back and glued this in the where the O is at. Now, for it to stay like down, I did glue some leaves down. And for this sign, I do want to show you 3 different options. For option number 1, you can honestly just leave it like this. Look how beautiful it already looks. Or you can add some of these smaller sunflowers that Dollar Tree carries. It carries some small and some medium ones. So you can add like 3 on each side. And for option number 3, which is the one I decided to go with, I added some ribbon around the square. So I decided to still use the smaller and medium sunflowers. I will be adding them on the corners. And that is it. Look how beautiful this sunflower home sign turned out. For my next project, I will be using another Dollar Tree sign. This one is from Easter, but Dollar Tree does carry different signs that you can use. Now I'm going to start by removing the paper. I removed it from the back and the front. I'm only using one side though. Since I couldn't remove the entire paper from one side, that is the side I will be using. I'm going to start by tracing the sign to this beautiful sunflower scrapbooking paper that I got from Hobby Lobby. I am going to cut it to size. I know it's not as big as the sign, but I'm still going to use it. To glue this, I'm using some of this Elmer's glue stick. Now to cover the bottom part, I'm using some of the Dollar Tree vinyl. I will be cutting this a little bit bigger than the piece at the bottom that wasn't covered. Once I am done cutting this out, I'm going to add it to my sign. Now this is so easy to add because this has adhesive already, so you just peel the back and stick it on the sign. I didn't like how that overlapping looks, so I will be adding some of this ribbon, and I think this made it look so much better. Now you have a beautiful canvas that you can honestly add whatever you like to this. I decided to add this pumpkin that I had, which I grabbed from Walmart. It was $1.74. It already has this Hello Pumpkin, so all I did was glue this to my sign. Using another piece of the same ribbon, I will be making a bow and adding it to the stem. And this is also going to help it cover the little hole that the pumpkin has. The last thing I will be doing is adding a hanger. Now this sign already had a hole, so all I did is grab a paintbrush and poke the hole through the paper. For the hanger, I will be using some beads. Now, these beads that I'm using came from a sign that I got from the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree does carry beads that you can use. So all I'm doing is adding this, and that is it for this beautiful Hello Pumpkin sign. For my next project, I will be using another Dollar Tree sign. This one is from Christmas, but not this Christmas. This one's from last year. So I'm going to start by removing the piece, this piece right here, and then I am going to remove the paper. For this sign, I will be using the calendar. Now, I got this last year, and honestly, I have like 2 calendars that I haven't used from last year. I decided to pull these out because I know they have some beautiful pictures on there, which I actually found the perfect one. This one right here that says Our Happy Place. I am going to trace this and cut it out, even though I was kind of sad because most of the sunflowers were like around my sign that I wanted to use. So if you have like a bigger sign, you can definitely use this entire paper, which is so beautiful. To glue this, I'm using my Elmer's glue stick. The letters on this sign are green. I didn't like that, so I decided to paint mine using some black paint and a tiny paintbrush. And honestly, look how beautiful this turned out. I think it looks so much better. Now, the last thing I will be doing is just gluing this back on where I took it off. I'm using hot glue. And these have some holes so you can add a hanger to it. I chose not to, and I just left mine like this. But that is it. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I will be using this Dollar Tree candle holder. Now this is metal. They have 2 different sizes. They have this small one and they have a bigger one. Now this project is going to be very simple and easy to do. The next thing I will be doing is cutting a piece of a floral foam. Now I first cut a small little square. Now that small little square, I shaped it into like a cone, so it can fit inside this candle holder. Once I was done cutting it, I glued it using hot glue. And this is how it's gonna look. Now the next thing I will be adding is some sunflowers. I got these from Dollar Tree. I did cut the stems a little bit shorter. I thought I was gonna use them bigger because I thought I had like more floral foam, which I ended up not finding it, and I found this small little floral foam. But anyway, once I'm done cutting the stems, I will be adding the first one like right in the center, and then the other ones I did put them around, so it's going to look like a small little sunflower ball. And that is it. The last thing I added was this bow I made using this Dollar Tree ribbon. And that is it. Look how beautiful and cute this turned out. And that is it for today. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comment section which one was your favorite, because I would love to know. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye. Start
Starting with my first project, I will be using 2 of these tabletop decor pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, these are 2 different designs. I am going to start by removing the paper. I'm also removing the sticker from the back. Once I am done, I will be using a piece of senshi to smooth that out. Now for the taller pumpkin, I will be using this Dollar Tree vinyl. I'm going to trace it out and then cut it. Before I add this, I am going to remove the stem, and I'm going to paint the stem using a dark brown. This vinyl is like a sticker, so I'm going to just remove the back and add this to the pumpkin. For my second pumpkin, I will be painting this. Now I'm going to use this orange and add a little bit of brown to make this a little bit darker. Using a little bit of brown, I'm going to distress this pumpkin and paint the stem. Using the same mixture of paint, I'm going to paint the sides of the other pumpkin. I do want these to match. To decorate my pumpkins, I will be adding bows. For the buffalo check one, I will be using some jute twine. I am going to wrap some jute twine around the stem. Using the same jute, I will be making a bow. And for the other pumpkin, I'm going to use this beautiful buffalo check ribbon and making a bow. I will be attaching these together to make a bigger tabletop, and to glue these I am using hot glue. I do recommend you adding some heavy duty glue like E6000 or super glue. To finish this off, I will be adding this wood grateful sign that I got from Hobby Lobby. I got it in a little pack, but that is it, guys. Look how beautiful this turned out. For my next project, I will be using 2 of these pumpkin sets. Now I'm going to start by taking these apart and removing the paper. Once I am done removing the paper, I'm going to use a sand sheet and sand the letters off of the other 2 pumpkins. Now for the brown pumpkin, I decided to paint it white. Well, not white, more like a beige color. So I am going to mix these 2 colors. For this pumpkin, I will be mixing these two colors and whatever white is left on the paintbrush. For the orange pumpkin, I'm using this color orange and whatever's left over on the paintbrush, like the yellow color. I did have to go twice over these two pumpkins because of the letters. For the fourth pumpkin, I'm using the Dollar Tree vinyl. I'm going to trace it, then cut it. Now that I have my pumpkins, I'm going to glue these together. Now, so they're nice and straight, you do want to use something so you can put it like at the bottom and make sure they're all leveled. Now I'm going to start by gluing the yellow pumpkin. This is going to overlap the buffalo check pumpkin and the ivory. I'm going to glue the orange pumpkin on the other side, overlapping the buffalo check. Now to finish this off, I added little jute twine bows to each of the pumpkins. And that is it. Look how beautiful these turned out. Now I left mine plain like this, but you can add some wood signs. For my next project, I will be using this pumpkin and this fall pig that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by removing the fabric from the pumpkin. I do want to mention the Dollar Tree does carry like a little bit bigger pumpkins than this. They carry a white one that's already ready to craft, or the orange one, which you would have to paint over it. But I didn't have none of those, so I decided to use whatever I had, which was this pumpkin. I'm going to paint my pumpkin like an ivory color or like a beige. So to do that, I am going to mix these two colors, white and this mustard colored. Now I don't have an ivory, that's why I am making my own. Now to distress this, I am going to add a little bit of brown to the paint and just go over the lines. I made my lines too thick, so I am going back over it using the same paint, but this is how it turned out. Now I'm going to cut the stems out of this pick. Now I'm going to just place the stems inside the hole that this pumpkin has. And that is it. Look how beautiful this pumpkin planter turned out. I will be using one of these Dollar Tree candle holders and this foam ball. Now these foam balls too come in a pack. I'm only using one. I'm going to start by gluing the foam ball to the candle holder. I am also using some of these pumpkins that I got from the Dollar Tree. 3 come in a pack and I'm using 4 packs. For this next step, you can use toothpicks, you can use dowels, you can use skewer sticks from the Dollar Tree, but I decided to use this leftover floral thing, the pieces of wire. I am going to cut several little different pieces from this. Before I add these little pieces of sticks, I am going to add some greenery. Now this greenery comes from a garland that I got from Target. It was $5, but you can use any greenery. Dollar Tree does carry greenery that you can use instead. I'm going to start to add the pumpkins to the topiary. I'm going to start with this one first. Now this is the only one I'm using out of this pack. Like out of the 3 ones, I'm only using one. I'm using the 3 orange, the 3 green, and the 3 other beige ones. You can see some of the white floral foam, so to cover that up, I'm using some of these pumpkins. 4 come in this little pack. I'm only using 3. I got these from the Dollar Tree. So I thought I was done covering this, but when I added this buffalo check bow to this, I realized that you can see some more of the white foam at the bottom of the topiary. I mean, you can't see it much, but you can. So to cover that up, I'm adding some more pumpkins. This time I'm adding these little orange ones, and I'm only using 3, but to be honest, I think this made it look so much prettier. But that is it for this topiary. Look how beautiful this turned out. This is perfect for a centerpiece. For my next project, I will be using this bamboo ring. I am using the smallest one that comes in this pack. I'm going to start by gluing this bamboo ring to a piece of wood. I'm going to paint the ring using the Waverly Antique Wax, and the little stand, I will be painting it black. And this is how it looks with just one pumpkin. Now I grabbed one of the leftover small little pumpkins and placed it on one side. I did have another pack of these small little pumpkins, so I grabbed another one and placed it on the other side. And I didn't glue them. These pumpkins are like foamy, so I just stuck them through on the side. And then I added some more of this greenery to the bottom because you could see it. I will be adding one of these thankful wood pieces. Now 6 of these come in a pack. To thankful, to blessed, and to grateful. The original price was $2.49, but right now everything's like, I'm not sure if 40 or 50% off at Hobby Lobby. Once I am done gluing this, I am going to add a little jute twine bow to the bottom, and that is it for this beautiful little centerpiece. Look how cute this turned out.
For my next project, I will be using this blackboard easel that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm actually reusing this, and I did paint it using the Waverly Antique Wax. I'm also using the leftover pumpkins from my first project and the little leftover orange one. And from the word pack, I will be using the word bless. I'm going to start by gluing the big pumpkins to the bottom, and then I will be adding the orange one like in the center but at the top. I added some greenery, and then I glued the blessed little sign, but I ended up not liking the greenery, so I do end up removing it at the end. To finish this off, I will be making a bow using the buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree and adding it in the center between the pumpkins. And that is it. Look how cute this turned out. For my next project, I'm using this black chalkboard that I got from Walmart. I think it was around $4 or under $4, like $3 something. So I'm going to start by painting the frame using the Waverly Antique Wax. And then I will be painting these pumpkins. Now I got these from the Dollar Tree, as you can see. These right here, I got them last year, but they are carrying the other pack I was showing you. I'm going to paint one of the pumpkins using white, or I try to make it more like an ivory color, so I added some brown to this white. The next pumpkin, I will be painting it orange, and then the next one green. I did use a little bit of brown to distress the pumpkins. While the pumpkins were drying, I was making some bows. I made 2 out of this jute twine and 1 out of the buffalo check ribbon. Now that the pumpkins are dry, I'm going to glue them to the blackboard. I'm going to start by adding the green and the white, leaving a space in between them to add the orange. The orange one is going to be overlapping. I'm going to add the jute twine string to the pumpkins on the side, and to the pumpkin in the center, I will be adding the buffalo check. To finish this off, I will be adding this grateful little sign from that pack I showed you earlier and add it to the bottom. And that is it for this grateful pumpkin sign. Look how beautiful and high-end this turned out. And that is it for today. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comment section which one was your favorite, because I would love to know. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye. Starting with my first project, I will be using this pumpkin. Now I got this for 25 cents. It was on sale. So I'm going to start by removing the staples. This pumpkin is cut in 5 different sections. I am only using 4 of them.
So because I only used 4, one of the sections was too big, so I am going to cut it. I attempted to smooth out the staple parts, but I wasn't successful. I just left it like that. Now moving on, I am going to start to paint this. I decided to paint this like an ombre color. So starting with this moss, I am going to paint the center one. And then for the following one, right on top of it, I added a little bit of lighter green to make it lighter, and so on. Now for the bottom one, I did add a little bit of antique wax to make it darker. Once everything was dry, I flipped them around and I added some popsicle sticks on the back to glue these together. And this is how it looks. To make this more rustic, I did distress the edges. Now you can add whatever you like to this. I had these Dollar Tree stencils, so I'm going to add this Hello Pumpkin. And I'm not adding the pumpkin at the bottom. To cover the staple marks, I will be using this Dollar Tree burlap. Using the same burlap, I made a bow, and this completes this beautiful Hello Pumpkin. For my next project, I'm using this Dollar Tree sign. Now I do want to show you what it was. It was this one right here, which I used the letters for this DIY I made a few weeks ago. I wasn't going to let the sign go to waste, so I tried to recreate it, but this time I used different colors. I will be using the green colors I used in my first project. I'm going to start by removing the staples and use a piece of satin sheet to smooth that out. Here at the bottom, you can see the little marks where the pumpkins go. So now I'm going to use a ruler just to shape them off. And this is how they look once they are marked. Now I'm going to start to paint this, and I tried to go in with an acrylic paint, which this was so sheer, so I ended up just putting this to the side and continuing with the green, which this green I'm going to use on the rest of the pumpkins. Now I'm going to leave whatever paint is on the paintbrush and use it. So it's going to make like a lighter green. And then I'm going to make it like different tones of green by just adding a little bit of white. And for like the darkest green, I'm going to add a little bit of antique wax. So this is something I should have done at the beginning and add some of this painter's tape from the Dollar Tree to make the lines more sharp. So I just did that. Now for the white, I'm using the Waverly chalk paint. I didn't want it to be so white, so I left whatever of the green was on the paintbrush and used that. I let this dry for a couple of minutes, then I remove the painter's tape. And this is how they look. So after looking at the pumpkins for a while, two of the colors look the same, so I decided to make one of them a little bit lighter, but instead of adding white, I added this green. I added a little bit of antique wax to the sponge and distressed the edges. I honestly didn't know what to add to this sign, but I found this grateful sign that I had and I added this. I made some jute twine bows and added to 3 of the pumpkins. The white pumpkin, I left it blank. Now to finish this off, I did add a little bit of jute twine to the bottom. And that is it for this beautiful, simple, grateful sign. For my next project, I will be using this unfinished foam pumpkin that I got from the Dollar Tree. Using the same green, I'm going to paint it, and this is how it looks. Now, I wanted this to be like a small little candle holder, so I removed the stem off. Once I remove the stem, I use the candle to mark down where I need to cut. Now, I won't be cutting like the entire hole. I only cut it a little bit off. And this is how it looks. After adding the candle, I felt like I needed something else. So I had these burlap stickers that I added around the pumpkin. To be honest, this wasn't my favorite project. I actually kind of did not like it, but I still wanted to show you guys. Now you can use this as a candle holder or as a floral holder, or you can add flowers to it. So that is it for today's projects. I really hope you have enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comment section which one was your favorite, because I would love to know. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye.